Welcome to yet another video. My name is Cynthia Wakeo, the Communication and Events Manager at Corporate Staffing Services, and today we're going to be giving you tips on how you can effectively prepare for an interview. I am joined by our interview coach, who is going to be telling us more. Thank you for joining me, Mary.
Thank you, Wakeo, for having me.
When you're on the other side as an interviewer, what do you look for in an interviewee?
One of the things that we look for, or rather the interviewers look for from an interviewee, is not just their technical expertise. An interviewee may have the right technical skills needed to do the job, but if they lack the right soft skills for them to succeed on that role, then they may never be able to do a good job. So what I can say as the key thing that we equally look for from the interviewee is their ability to have the right effective personal attributes that are required for them to be able to succeed in that role. So over and above just being knowledgeable about the role as a candidate or as an interviewee, it is also very important to bring out the demeanor. Do you have the right demeanor? Do you have the right personality? Are you passionate about that role? Do you have the right attitude for the job? So soft skills is also another area that a candidate or an interviewee is required to have a look at even before they go for that interview, because it carries the bigger share of the day. And also over and above just your personal attributes, also in terms of the body language, even during the interview. How do you carry out yourself in terms of even the way you sit in that interview room? Is it the right posture? Because there is what even the sitting posture communicates. It's either communicating you are overconfident, or it's either communicating you are underprepared. So those are some of the things that you need to take into consideration as an interviewee, because they may look small, yes, but employers also pay attention to them during the interview. Yeah.
So with that in mind, and looking at a candidate going for a job interview, what should one do to prepare for any kind of interview?
When it comes to preparation, I normally divide it into three parts. Number one is documentation, which is pretty easier. For documentation, you just ensure you carry all the necessary documents that you've been asked to carry with you when going for the interview. Part of the documentation that interviewees or candidates normally forget to carry is the exact copy of the CV they used when applying for that role. And of course, it just doesn't end at carrying the copy of the CV, but it calls for you to do what we call content mastery of your CV. Because sometimes employers just run to your CV and they begin to shoot questions right from there. So if you had not mastered the content of your CV and you're not able to respond to questions coming directly from the CV, then it doesn't portray you well as a candidate. Another thing when it comes to preparation is always take time to study the job description, because 90% of interview questions comes from there. It is from the job description that they will be asking you questions to test you on your technical expertise, as well as whether you have the right soft skills. So the job description comes in handy, and I normally tell candidates never go for any interview if you have not taken time to look at the job description. And when it comes to the job description again, match your current experience with that particular role that you are being interviewed for. How can you be able to borrow the skills that you have acquired to match that role? And then lastly, very important as part of the preparation, understand the employer. Go over and above just knowing that I'm going to be interviewed by Corporate Staffing Services. Get to know what exactly do Corporate Staffing do, which services do they offer, are they currently in the news, is what they're doing something that is currently trending. It helps you to be seen as a candidate who is not just relevant, but also up to date in their areas of passion or expertise. Yeah, very important.
Yeah. And what final advice would you give someone who is going for an interview?
Well, now that we've talked about preparation, it goes without saying, from the moment you receive that phone call or that email inviting you for an interview, and you have sent a reply or a response confirming your availability, that is when preparation begins. So prepare. Don't just look at the job description and assume that this is something that I can handle. Go over and above and match your current role to what you are going to be interviewed for. So preparation carries the day for anyone out there who is having an upcoming interview. Number two, it is very important to practice with someone. So after doing your preparation, you studied the job description, you understand the employer, have someone to ask you questions, assuming you are in the real interview room, just to see how you could have done it. And you can go beyond just having any other person to help you with the practical bit of it and get personalized help. Seek for a professional coach, someone who is able to advise you in terms of the personal attributes that also employers are looking for. Because this other person may not really know what employers expect from a candidate during the interview. So getting personalized professional help also is very key if you have an upcoming interview. Yeah.
I think what most candidates forget is the part where you have your CV. The CV says something about your role, and then you're asked, you don't even remember to even relate it to the job description.
Very true, very true. And that is why we say when you're studying the job description, there is a way to look at a certain role and ask yourself, this responsibility, is it within what I am currently handling? If yes, how has my experience been performing such a task? Do I have any track record? Is there any situation or a problem or a challenge or a project that exposed me to handling such a task? That helps you as a candidate not just to be able to demonstrate your knowledge of that role, but also back it up by giving relevant examples of the situations that you've handled, where you've handled such a task before. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for your time, Mary, and thanks for joining me for this session today.
Thank you, it was my pleasure.
All right. Thank you so much for watching. If you have a job interview that is coming up, you've had Mary. Other than the tips she's given you, you can also access professional help. All you need to do is contact our interview coach, who is Mary, in the link below, and she will reach out to guide you on the next steps. Bye, and see you in the next video.